guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be doing this tutorial for you guys, and a lot of it's surrounding a liquid lipstick. Not on the lips, but on the eyes. So if you guys want to see that technique that I used, keep watching. Yay! Another one! I think I told you guys in a couple of videos that I just put a bunch of stuff in here and then I figure out what I'm going to do when I get here, which is kind of nice because when I'm at my vanity, I usually do the same old because that's what I'm used to doing. So this helps me out a little bit. I'm gonna start off with the eyes because I did want to do one technique with an eyeshadow. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, or several months now actually. So, okay, first I'm just gonna throw on a little bit of lip balm. I did already moisturize my face with the Embryolisse Hydra matte emulsion. This one is better for when you're feeling oily or have oily skin. I'm gonna take this liquid lipstick. It's in the color Mocktail, and this is from Motives. It's a really pretty, like, purpley type of color, and I'm gonna be using that on my eye as a base. So the trick with this is to definitely use a synthetic brush so then they can get cleaned off a little bit easier. So I'm just gonna place a little bit of this. Honestly, I'm just kind of experimenting. I've only done this a couple of times, and I like the way it turned out, but both times are very different looks. I'm just gonna smudge it with my finger. I just think that the finger does something a little bit different. I just don't want to use my brush also. So I'm kind of keeping it just right on the lid. This might be a little much for tonight. I have some plans tonight, but whatever. Who cares? Who cares? So what? The thing with these liquid lipsticks is that they don't dry matte. They just kind of stay on there really long. I think I want to just use some of my favorite eyeshadow, Stars and Rockets. It's just a really, like, my fingers are... Stars and Rockets is a beautiful color. It's very, it morphs into a lot of different shades, and it's like a morphing color. So I thought it would be pretty on top of pink. I usually put this on top of like a deep purple or like an eyeliner, but this actually looks really nice. Oh my god, this is very retro and I love it. And I'm gonna take a little fluffy brush, and I think I want to use this color. This is by NYX. It was when they had their single shadows. It's called Flirt. I just wanted to use this in a little bit as a transition that's more matte. And it's gonna be pretty easy on the lids though, because I kind of like the looks that are super easy. And then use that to fluff it out a little bit. I don't think I'll know if I'm feeling it until the very end, because that's how these looks always end up on me. In the meantime though, I think I just want to move on with skin. Use the Laura Mercier primer and just prime all over my face. Yeah, the eyes I'll come back to because I need to figure out what exactly I want to do with them. I'm using my sharp tape, my Tarte Shape Tape as my foundation today. So this is in the color Warm Tan Sand, and it's actually a pretty dead-on foundation color for me. I just also like to use it as my concealer color. And I tried this a couple of times before. I'm using my L'Oreal blender to blend everything out. This is just a really flawless foundation if you use it as a foundation. And take my beauty blender. It's so pretty. Yeah, I have like zero flaws now. Holy shit. I love that. I'm gonna put a little bit more underneath my eyes, nothing crazy, just to kind of conceal. And then I want to use a highlighter. I've been editing a ton of vlogs footage lately, and I thought my camera died like forever, but it really was just dead. So anyways, I had a ton of footage and I'm like, you know what, let me just knock these out. So this morning I edited two. I edited all of May and all of June, and then I'll get to July, and then I'll start like vlogging a little bit more frequently. It's just crazy how much time went by without me uploading those. Alright, to highlight a little bit, I'm using W4 to 5 by L'Oreal. It's the True Match. Actually, it might be a perfect color on me. I don't know if it's going to highlight or not. Yeah, it will. I talk to myself a lot, in case you didn't know. There was one where I was editing footage, and I kept going back and forth with ideas, and I was like, oh my god, like, is that how I am in real life? I was talking way too much, but that is how I am in real life. I always like to bounce a little bit of that concealer color down here, just in case there's not a huge variance. I had to create that. To set underneath my eyes, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I'm using the color light medium. I think that light medium is just the color I should have bought to begin with. I don't really use the other one too much all over my face because I do have a lot of other face powders. And I think I just want to like return it because I don't use it a ton. I just don't utilize it a lot. I hate not like being wasteful. Just kind of dusting off a little bit more. And like the beautiful thing about this Tarte concealer is that it dries matte, so you really don't have to set it all over the face when you use this as a foundation. It just creates a little bit more of a subtle porcelain look. Yeah, I was gonna use my powder for my face, but honestly my face dries matte, so I don't need this. Bronzer, because again I'm just gonna kind of keep going with the face until I kind of get inspired all over. For my bronzer, I'm using Shadester by MAC. It's this guy right over here. I'm using this brush, which I haven't used in a while. It's actually broken. So, but I remember I used it once as like my bronzing color. And like, it's just so easy because of the shape. I like that a lot. I haven't used Shadester in such a long time. I usually use it a ton on other girls who are like my complexion or light or a little bit deeper, but for some reason I haven't been using it on myself lately. This Shape Tape is amazing all over the skin. It's so beautiful, and I hate to say it, but it's a beautiful foundation too, which sucks because then you have to like use it more. Yeah, I'm just gonna spray my face a tiny bit just so like everything kind of settles, because with this concealer as a foundation, it is a little bit it's a little bit drying on the face. Okay, I'm using the Meet Matte palette. This is the old one, and I'm taking the color Matte Batali, which is the deep purple one, and I'm gonna rub that along the lower lash line. The same brush. I'm using the same brush I use as my lid color to do this with. I like doing my lower lash line after I put on concealer, because it just like lays on the concealer a little bit better, and it also kind of heightens the color of your shadow because the concealer is sitting underneath it, and it almost acts like a primer, so to speak. I'll use my eye kohl in Smolder by MAC. I'm gonna line that on the bottom. Yeah, the bottom looks pretty. I'm gonna do a little bit on the very top of my lashes, kind of like a smudged out liner. And I'm going to smudge it out a little bit with that Batali color that I used on the bottom lash line. Just roughly. Yeah, that's smoky. I like it. And again, pick up a little bit of that eyeshadow and then smudge it all over. So cool. I love that. Stars and Rockets is a very fun color, and it can be used so many different ways. Alright, really fast, just because I want to do my cheeks, I'm going to use the color, what color is this? Peachtwist. I'm using Peachtwist on my cheeks. It has a little bit of a sheen on there, which is good for this look because most of it, everything is like matte, and this will sit on it a little nicer. Okay, let me quickly curl my lashes. For my mascara, I'm using the Carbon Black Voluminous Waterproof Mascara. And then for my brow, I'm going to fill them in really quickly with the NYX pencil in Ash Brown. I was going to tell you guys I was going to add eyelashes. I just don't think it needs it. It's kind of one of those looks that's pretty like you know, special on its own where it doesn't need lashes. So yeah, moving on. I like a lot of Motive stuff. They've sent me a bunch of stuff like throughout the years, and out of all their stuff, their liquid lipsticks are just yes. And then this specific one powder that I just didn't even think to put on is amazing. It's their shimmers and the color Copper. Yeah, so it's just like a pigment. I love to use it as a highlight, but you don't need a ton. And I do it kind of like all over. Just accentuates like the tan. It's a little bit bronzy. It looks like it's beaming, and it is, but it's more of like a tan beam than anything. So what you have to do, well, which is what I do, is so that you don't look like orange and like weird, I just buff it out a little bit more. And this is my powder brush that I used for my, usually like what I use for my face. Every once in a while I don't do that, but today I just didn't look that great with it. So it's nice because you can manipulate it a couple ways. So you can make it really like subtle, and you can actually make it really beaming and crazy. And then for my beaming highlight, which is more of like a lighter color, which I like to use really shiny, this is the color Precious Petals, and it's the Wet n Wild highlight. These guys are amazing. I love them so much. I need to like, can't see. And that I like this color is what I like to see that's beaming. The gold almost looks like dirty on me, only because it's a little bit too dark for my skin, you know what I mean? On the very tip of my nose. That. I'm just gonna buff a little bit in this area so that it doesn't settle into any of the pores. One last time, I'm gonna set my face with the Make It Last spray. This is more for, because everything's so matte, I want a little bit of dewiness back to my skin. And this is what this does for me and my complexion. Okay. Oh, so good. I'm gonna do that every time, I swear. Now that the fixing spray is all dry, I'm using my Essence Brow Gel to kind of lay it all down and make sure my hairs look full and bushy on my eyebrows. Actually, I wanted to try this on its own because I haven't played with this by itself really yet. This is the Milani lip liner in 4 Natural. I wanted to see if it does anything on my lips. Yes and no. I think in the winter it'll look better because my lips do pale out a little bit more in the winter time. That's pretty, but I'm gonna have to not wear that today. Half and Half is a great nude lipstick if you are my complexion. They're actually discontinuing Freckle Tone, which was one of my favorites. It's a very peachy nude, which are my favorite nudes if I'm not wearing like a mauvey pink. So anyways, Half and Half is a nice like balance between the two, so it's not super pale, but it also has some peach in there. Yeah, so Half and Half. I love saying that I'm wearing Half and Half to clients and customers because they're always like, okay, what's the other half? I'm like, no, it's called Half and Half. Actually, those do look really nice together. Yeah, with everything matte, this kind of calls for something shiny on the lips. And then I'm just gonna throw this on just to kind of make it a little bit more shiny. This is the Trust Fund Beauty in the color Blame Game. This was in a BoxyCharm, I believe. My sister got it, and everything that she doesn't get, like, necessarily, she gives it to me. It's coming off a little bit deeper in the camera, but it actually is like a nudie mauve gloss. It's a really nice consistency. It's very non-sticky, which I always am like, yeah, right. There are some glosses that are non-sticky. Doesn't offer too much color. It's just thin enough to add a little bit of shine without changing the integrity of the lipstick that you put underneath it. Alright guys, that's the finished makeup. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and trying this look out with me, because for a second I was kind of struggling, but we made it, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys try this technique out with liquid lipsticks. If you guys want to see more of my videos, I'll link them at the very end. In the meantime, I hope you guys subscribe to my channel and you follow me and share it with all of your friends so they can know how to get glam looks like this. I'll see you guys later. Bye.